Matt channel, welcome. Right, I'm going to start immediately by saying thank you to some new patrons I've got over the last few days. We've got Talita Inafuku, Laura Miller, Megan Falconer, and a new one today, Jane Fraser. Thank you very much, guys, for becoming patrons. As always, very grateful to all the patrons because they allow me to do this channel like a kind of job, really. I get to keep my skill alive making jewellery, and also get the satisfaction of just sharing the things I've learned over the last 20 years when I was working as a professional jeweller. I don't work as a professional jeweller anymore because I moved to Japan and basically don't speak Japanese well enough to get a job. Simple as that. And yeah, when I moved to Japan, I started like trying to find ways to make money, just doing whatever I can using what I got. Yeah, looked online, saw on YouTube, like totally unimpressed with what was available, what people were being taught making jewellery, so I decided to make my own channel. So here we are, a few years later. Right, this is a kind of quick, I'm going to say silly, it might be useful to someone, but we're using silver dip, yeah? I got this chain, this is actually something I made for a friend of my wife's, it's a doubled up chain. Seeing it now, I should probably do a video on how to make a double chain, because they are nice seeing two together like this. But there's a good way to do it, a skillful way to actually join them up at the ends. So I might do a video on this in the future. But anyway, today we are just silver dipping it. So it's not as simple as just chucking things in there. There's a few things that I've learnt through experience to get the most benefit out of this cleaner. So I'll show you what I do. Last time I saw this chain, perhaps 2 years ago, it was like beautiful, shiny, sparkly, fresh chain. Now look at it, it's gone black, yeah? Problem with silver, it just tarnishes. If you chuck it in a jewellery box and don't touch it, it just turns black, it just oxidizes in the air, I guess. Let me just point out this ends, look. This is two together. I did that. I actually put them together like that. So there's a nice way to do it. You've got to do it well, because if you're making a chain like that in 18 karat gold or platinum, it's an expensive piece, two long chains like that. So you've got to do a good job and make it high quality. But yeah, I've got a way to do it. So I'll do that in another video. Today we're just dipping it. And I want to talk about what you should do. First of all, right, you can't just, well you can, but it's better not to. Don't just chuck it straight in the dip and then that's it. I would definitely ultrasonic it first, because if that's an old piece of jewellery that's been worn and then not worn for ages and gone black, it's going to be greasy and a bit horrible. So definitely ultrasonic it first. All right, so you ultrasonicked it, washed it off. This is silver dip I bought in Japan. I don't think it's as good as what I had in the UK, whatever that was. It's not as bluey colour. Anyway, it does its job okay. So yeah, I lower it in there. You can put it on a hook, whatever you want. This has got this thing, so I'm just going to use that. Hold it in for a bit. I keep an eye on it, yeah. You don't want to put it in too long. I mean, I'm almost expecting this not to clean up that well, because it's just so tarnished. Move it around in there, make sure there's no air bubbles, not getting bits clean. Take it out, put it back in. Just make sure we move it around in there. Yeah, it's not coming up nice and sparkly like it was before it tarnished. The silver dip actually works a little bit on gold as well. If things are a little bit tarnished, like 9 karat, can go a bit black and stuff around the edges. Sometimes silver dip does improve gold as well, but it has the biggest effect on silver. I reckon if you leave stuff in silver dip too long, it's bad. And definitely it's really bad if you don't wash it off properly. So really be thorough washing it off. And I swear, I've got no proof of this. I've got no way of proving it. It's just my intuition that things clean off better when you wash them off in cold water. Oh, yeah, this looks terrible. So now what I'm going to do is dry it with this bit of old t-shirt. So I've got a silver cleaning cloth there to give it a wipe. Brings a bit more shine back into it. And if you look at the cloth after, you can see like still black comes off it. Yeah, this is improving it. This is taking it up a level. Obviously it's nice if you can clean up a chain and do a good job without having to do any polishing. Saves you money, saves risk on breaking something as well. Like an old chain, an old fine chain, risky to polish, not just because they can catch easily, but they can just break as well, and then you end up having to solder up chains and repair them for free. in a rush before a customer comes back. Right, so that has massively improved. It doesn't look, I mean, it looks like 50%, 60% of how good it is when it's new. It's got a bit of sparkle back to it, but it's not as bright white as when you get a fresh new one. But it is an old chain, you know, it's been worn, so there is a chance that the surface is gone. And silver chains are silver plated when you buy them new to stop them oxidizing when they're like waiting in jewelers' stores stock and stuff. So yeah, that plating wears off over time. So that's why they're more likely to tarnish more quickly as they get older. So anyway, what I'm going to do, the chain looks improved now, but that still looks kind of terrible. So what I'm going to do is just quickly polish that and that. That's a bit of a cheap way to make the whole thing, give the impression of the whole thing being really good. Right, so I'm just going to polish the clasp, that's all. Blue stuff, a bit of white. A little bit of leather, lay it on there. Make sure this is all in my fingers, away from the mop. There you go, it's kind of done. Turn it around, other side. That's it. So there you go, just a few minutes work. Try light on it. So that chain, it's not perfect. It's like I say, it's about 60% of as good as new. So that's a massive improvement, really. This is what I would call a complementary level polish on a chain. Like you did a repair on a pendant or something, and after you did a solder, say, and it's been in the acid, and you polished it. It's nice. It's recommended to give the chain a bit of attention as well, even though the chain was okay. Just spend a few minutes cleaning it up. So a silver dip, just polish the clasp. It literally took minutes, and you'll definitely have a happier customer when they see their whole piece looking fresh when they come to collect it. And happy customers is good for business. Right, just a few words to finish the video. Silver dip, yeah, even if you're working on like expensive stuff, mostly platinum and gold and that, it's worth having some, because on a chain there's like the sort of inner rounded sections, you can't really polish them, you can't reach that bit with your polishing mops. So it can help you out. It can untarnish things on gold as well. So it's a little bit useful. You might get a slightly better job if you silver dip something first in gold and then do all your polishing. It can help you out. But I want to mention it is slightly poisonous. So if it gets on your skin, you'll be all right. Just wash it off. Gets in your eye, rinse it as soon as you can. Gets in your mouth, it's unlikely, but just rinse your mouth out. And then if you really gulped some down, like you mistook it for your drink on your bench or something, I would just, as quick as I can, I would just drink loads and loads of water, just dilute it. I think you'll be all right. What else? Yeah, some stones can't go in there, like pearls. A little bit risky, like if you put a pearl earring in there and took it out, it might go a bit chalky white. You'd have to re-oil it afterwards. So again, you won't damage it, as long as you, I can't imagine you really damage a pearl in there, but it's a game you don't want to play, being risky, putting chemicals on things that might ruin people's jewellery. So yeah, pearls, be careful. Same as like rhodium plating cleaner as well, that can ruin a pearl. Basically what I'm thinking is anything porous. So opals are even a little bit porous. So if you've got an expensive opal, maybe be careful if you're going to silver dip it. Antique jewellery, I learned this the hard way. Once we had this big old cut diamond ring, I think it was a ring. But it was mounted in silver, and like antique silver pieces. They've got like black around all the crevices, all the little grooves and stuff around the sides of the claws. I silver dipped it, and all the bits that were black then turned chalky white, and it looked totally different. I thought it looked better. I thought it looked like a cleaner, fresher piece. We gave it to the customer, and they were like, "What have you done? Like, it's totally different." So we explained what happened. We cleaned it and got rid of all the black, but they preferred it with the black. So I got this platinol stuff and a cocktail stick, and I had to reapply all the black sections on it. So yeah, be careful, antique jewellery. It can be too effective in some circumstances. But yeah, apart from that, it's useful. And then, just like I did today, a complimentary clean. Just polishing all that is risky. It might break, and it can get messy, like properly polishing fine chains. So just silver dip and then polishing the catch, the easy bit, and that looks so much better now. And like if you're working on a pendant, like you did a solder on a pendant, and then that had to be polished, so the pendant's all looking fresh and new. And then you put it back on their chain, and the chain looks all old and crappy. It's not that great. It's nice if you can just clean up the chain as well. And then you've got a happier customer as well. So it's a better experience for the customer and very little extra work for you. So I think it's worth having silver dip in your workshop.